And good morning to everyone. It's Wednesday, January the 10th, and time for another few words. I thought I'd begin this new year with some hopefully role models for us to emulate in a very real way, and not just any role models, but Salesian role models. There's a half a dozen or so Salesian feast days that we celebrate as a Salesian church, as a Salesian congregation throughout the year, and there's a number of them here in January. And the first one I'm going to begin with is Father Titus Zeman. His feast day ordinarily is on January 8th, and it's the day that he died in 1969. Titus was born in a little town of Vajnori. It is in Czechoslovakia, and as a citizen of that country, he, right from the earliest of age of 10 years old, wanted to become a priest. It wasn't, he went to secondary school and high school with a nearby Salesian school, and entered novitiate shortly afterwards. The novitiate is where it's a preliminary to entering into seminary, and you become professed at the end of your novitiate year. So he entered novitiate in 1931. He did his temporary vows, 6 years temporary vows, started his theology, and in 1938 took his perpetual vows. Was ordained a priest in 1940 on June 23rd, and had his first home mass at his hometown in Vajnori on August the 4th, 1940. He worked in the society for 10 years locally, and in 1950, when the Czechoslovakian Communist Party outlawed all kinds of religious orders, they began to deport all consecrated members, men and women, to concentration camps. And when this happened, Father Zeman stepped up and took responsibility for organizing trips of those men in our society who needed to complete their studies and couldn't do so unless they could travel to Italy. They had to do so in Italy because they could no longer do their studies in Czechoslovakia. It was all outlawed. And so, in a very clandestine, hidden way, he organized two different trips totaling over 60 Salesians that he brought safely to Turin, which was the headquarters of our Salesian Society for so many years, the town and the city where Don Bosco himself was born and grew up in, and did his original ministry in, and the headquarters at that time of our Salesian Society. And so he did their studies there. On the third trip, he was captured along with the other members of his party, and was brought to trial as a traitor to his homeland and as a Vatican spy. It was suggested for him to receive the death penalty, but because of extenuating circumstances, I'm not exactly sure what they were, he was given 25 years in harsh prison life. And so he began his prison life at that time, and that was in February 22nd, 1952. So he began his 25-year sentence. After 12 years, because of health reasons and other extenuating circumstances, again, he was given probation and went back to Yugoslavia, went back to his hometown, and where for the next 5 years his health had been broken because of the harsh conditions in prison life. He lasted about 5 years and died in 1969 on January the 8th. His last words, said, "Even if I lose my life," he said, "I would not consider it a waste, knowing that at least one of those I had helped became a priest in my place." I often say that for us to practice and be able to walk with God, we have to kind of emulate the love that he has. Love one another is his commandment, Jesus' commandment, as I have loved you. And to do that, his love was not just unconditional, no strings attached, didn't depend on any circumstances or situation. He loved no matter what. And then the second item that has to do with the love of God, to emulate God's love for us, is that it has to be sacrificial. and putting his own life on the line for the sake of other. And that's something that Titus did. And the third one is that it has to bear good fruit. And certainly his life has borne good fruit, not only in Slovakia, but in our Salesian society, but throughout the world as well, for those who follow his example. My prayer for all of us is that we use Blessed Titus as a role model of what it takes to walk with God, to have the love of God in our life, to put yourself at risk for the sake of other and for a greater good. May we do likewise. Mary, help of Christians, pray for us. Mary, help of Christians, pray for you. God bless you all. Bless Titus Zeman, pray for us. Have a great week. See you next week, hopefully. God bless you all.